Hi, my name is Suzanne Esper and welcome to this tutorial section. Hi, welcome to this mini tutorial. Today I'm going to show you some hints and tips on how to use stencils. So in this tutorial, I'm going to share with you some hints and tips that I use every day in my stencil business to allow me to stencil on any cakes at all. So if you're ready, let's get going and I'm going to show you all the little things that you need in order to stencil like a boss. So first up, you need some royal icing. So this is just your typical royal icing. It's not going to fall off my spatula. It's really lovely and white. And to get it really looking white, I've added some super duper whitener, which is titanium dioxide. So this stuff is just a white powder that you add to your royal icing. So I typically use royal icing powder. I mix up into a paste using my stand mixer. And then I'll add a little bit of water to it in order to make this really beautiful thick royal icing that we're going to use on our cakes. So the super duper white, what it does is it adds a base to your royal icing so that the white pops. So if you ever want to stencil on top of a white wedding cake and you want to see the stencil, add some super white and it's going to allow that white to differentiate itself from the background. Also, this is a perfect base for adding colours. So if you don't want a wishy-washy look on your stenciling, add a little bit super white and it's going to make those colours really pop from your cake. Okay, next up we need the stencils. So of course, to stencil, you actually need some stencils. So I have two of my stencils here. You may have purchased these already or it might be on your wish list. I'm going to show you two ways to stencil. I'm going to show you how to wrap this around a cake and attach it to your cake. And this way I'm going to actually show you how to do it by panelling on top of a stretch of modelling paste. And this is going to give you options when it comes to using different styles and different types of stencils. So what's handy about these stencils is it comes with these lovely little holes on here and some sections that are cut in the side. Now this is to allow us to use something like Stencil Grabber. So this is typically the Stencil Grabber here. This is material that sticks to itself. What it does is you feed it through the little section here. Okay, then you use a bulldog clip to attach it. You wrap it around your cake and then you stretch this round the back of your cake. It doesn't cause any damage. You do have to let your cake set up overnight. Wrap this round, attach it to the other side and then you're good to go. The second way of attaching is using pins. Now you have to sterilise your pins. And what you're going to do is there's some handy little guide holes here. You would pop those through and attach them onto your cake. This is going to mean that it's not going to move around. And you've got some along the long side and across the short side as well. So that's perfect for any size of cake, some smaller ones, right up to your tall double barrel cakes. Please do make sure you sterilise those pins and please do make sure you account for each pin that you place on the cake at the end so that you're not handing over a cake with a pin to any of your customers. Okay, so you know about the essentials that you need before you royal ice. The next thing you're going to have to do is actually test your royal icing out. So I have my royal icing here. It's got the super white in it. It's not particularly runny, which is the best part. And I've got a little scraper here. We're going to apply it onto another stencil. So I always test out my royal icing first before I go anywhere near a cake. So I have a board behind here. This is just a ganache board. And I'm going to apply some of the royal icing, scrape it off, and then have a look at the pattern. So let me just take a little piece of this royal icing. You don't need much at all. This is just a test. I'm going to hold down my stencil and I'm going to go over the top in a nice sweeping motion. And then I'm going to basically use a scraper just to pull that off, okay? Then what I'm going to do is basically just lift this up, peel it off really gently and then have a look at the pattern that's left behind. So here I can see that the pattern is really, really clean. It's not bleeding into the other lines. It's very much raised and succinct, and you can see that it's white. So this is going to be perfect on top of a cake, and so therefore we have the correct consistency. If you found that it was all smudged and going underneath the stencil, then you know that it's too liquidy. So please add a little bit more royal icing to your stock, mix it up, and then try again. So in order for your royal icing not to dry out, you want to dampen up some tissue paper or a clean cloth, and you want to make it wet and just lay that on top of your bowl, and that's going to stop your royal icing crusting over while you work. So let me just grab that cake and we'll get started. So here I have my cake. I already attached my stencil to it. So we're using some fundamental stuff here as well. So we're also using some tulle. This is like a little roll of mesh fabric that's going to allow us to hold in that stencil to the surface of the cake. This is particularly useful if you've got any pokey out pieces. And what it looks like, it's just a roll of material. So you can get this from lots of different suppliers, and I'll put some in your notes below. And this mesh stuff here is just going to attach this to your cake to make sure that none of that royal icing slides behind your stencil. It's going to keep it really, really nice and contoured and sharp, and keep your edges beautifully clean. Okay, so what I've done is I've gone ahead, cut it to the size of the stencil, popped in some pins at the side, and made sure that the stencil is super tight to the cake. Next, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start stenciling this cake. Okay, so if you see here at the side here, I normally start at one side and I'll do a section about 2 or 3 inches at a time, and then I'll scrape down and then move to the next section. So that's exactly what I'm going to do just now. So let's get started on this side here. So I have my royal icing, and I'm going to go ahead and just up and down the side of this cake, right to the top, right to the bottom. Okay. Just make sure all the little bits are covered with royal icing. Now, the main thing to note is to not go over your line here. So you want to make sure that your cake is completely protected in the areas where you do not want your royal icing to be. Okay, so just spread that up and down. Next, you're going to go ahead and you're going to scrape this off. So I'm going to scrape away from myself, make sure I'm holding this back. I'm going to start here and scrape along the way, and then scrape this off. Okay, move down. Again, start at the edge and scrape it away from myself. And move to the next section. So I can see here, I've got a little gap. I'm just going to fill that in before I go any further. Make sure it's all the way down. And again, I'm going to start to scrape. So hold that tight and scrape away from myself. And the same one here. Bring that down and scrape away. Okay, so now I am going to go ahead and I'm going to go round and do the rest of the cake, and I'll meet you back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you from this side how I would do that as well, so you can see a front view. So I'm just going to spread that up and down front of the cake. Okay, you want to watch what you're doing. You want to go down the sides, make sure you're catching all of that detail. I'm going to lift that up here. And I work in 2 to 3 inches at a time. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and scrape that down. I'm going to scrape that towards me. Very gently, just lift it off before I come off the side of the stencil. Just going to make sure I've got a clean finish to the stencil. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead with the rest of the cake, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so I've actually gone round and I've stenciled this first section, so now we have to remove the pins. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take them off at one side. Okay, hold it down and take it off at the other side. And then I'm going to hold it at one side whilst I peel it off in one go. Okay, and then we're going to have a look at what we've just done. So there you can see we've got our lovely stencil pattern. It's looking really, really lovely and clean. So now I'm going to go ahead and go and wash this stencil. In the meantime, the actual royal icing will be drying. Then I'm going to come back, match up the stencil pattern, and then I'll continue again. So I'll meet you back here in a few minutes. Hi, so welcome back. So I've matched up the pattern. Now I'm good to go again to start stenciling. So what you want to do is you want to match up the side that looks the best, because sometimes there are some little blemishes. So always look to match up the pattern where you've got your best side so that you've got plenty of options when it comes to showing a stencil. So I'm going to go ahead and just stencil this section, and then I'll meet you back here when I'm on the final leg. Hi, so welcome back. So I'm on my last stretch here. I've matched it up to the side here that I feel looks the best, and I've just got this little section here. So what I've done is I've pinned just beyond that section so that I don't run into the rest of the royal icing. So I'm going to stencil this, and then I'm going to peel to reveal at the end. So here we have our finished stencil cake. I hope you've enjoyed that tutorial on how to stencil on a cake. Thank you so much for watching the videos. I hope you found some very useful hints and tips that's going to help you on your cake journey. Now if you'd like to sign up for the next videos, make sure you subscribe below, and I'll see you there.